Greetings, everyone. Welcome to a new Asafo. I am your host, Kim. And this week I have a show that's a little bit different again. I am actually meeting with a couple of my friends, Audrey and Tanisha, and we're going to discuss Sister Felicia's latest workshop, Shrines and Altars. Well, not only the workshop, but there's a DVD and a book that goes along with that particular workshop. So earlier this week, I had the idea to share this video with a couple of my friends. I ordered the DVD package from Sadulu House last week or so, and when I got it in, I was so excited about it because the DVDs are so well put together and very professionally done. And I kind of wanted to share that with my friends because often in this journey into African spirituality in particular, some of us may be a little confused or just not have enough information on how to build an effective shrine where you establish this gateway and you're actually having dialogue, or you're positive that you're getting feedback. So after I viewed the DVD, I was like, pumped. I was like, okay, I got to show somebody this DVD. So we got together one day this week, and it was probably around maybe 8 o'clock at night that we started watching the film, and we didn't even get finished talking and just discussing everything until like 2 o'clock in the morning. So when we met the following day to actually record some audio and discuss what we had watched the previous night. So needless to say, we were all a little bit tired from staying up the night before, and still, having to go to work the next day. But it was a really good conversation. I actually wish I had recorded some of that audio from the previous night, but the following night was equally good, so I think you'll enjoy that. Remember, you can go to saduluhouse.com and check out the website. It's all new and revamped, and they have, if you go to the store, you can check out all of the new products. You have the our new Obi set. You have several DVDs from the Self-Actualization Tour, as well as Felicia's new DVD on building shrines and altars. And you also have all of the literature, all of the new literature, all nice and packaged up for you. You can get it in a package deal, or you can purchase it separate, but you get a little bit of a discount if you buy it all together. So be sure to check that out. Also, be sure to check out the upcoming workshop, December 27th, I believe. Yeah, that's December 27th at Black and Nobel Bookstore in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where Chief will be discussing the power of the 14 African principles, and that is from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So if you're in the area, or if you can travel to Philadelphia, be sure to check that out. That is, I think, the last workshop on the Self-Actualization Tour. I don't want to forget, be sure to also click the follow button on Blog Talk Radio and /Enlightenment and Transformation to keep up with all of the shows. And you can go back into the archives to find a lot of old shows, the Thunderground Thursday shows, the Foundational Fridays, and Felicia and Damon's show, Mastermind Mondays. Some really, really great information in those shows, so be sure to go back and check that out. Also, check out the student group on Facebook. It's a new spiritual group, and you also have several channels on YouTube. Yuya Asana New and Anu Nation are a couple that I can just remember, off the top of my head. But be sure to check that out. Also, make sure you go to Sadulu House and sign up for the newsletter to keep you up to date with everything that's going on. And before we go to the break, I also wanted to just say thank you to Audrey and Tanisha for coming through and supporting my show and the New Spiritual Order. Um, One thing about it is here I do have a really good group of people or a good group of friends that will come through and we'll watch, some movies and get together and discuss it. And that's something that I kind of want to encourage the audience to do, make dinner, invite some friends over and get these discussions going because, it's a hard journey, to try to do this alone. And I really think that more people, if you, just make it a welcoming environment, more people really are interested and really do want to talk about these subjects. So not only are you, helping your friends, but it helps you as well to kind of, have someone to bounce those ideas off of. So I encourage all of you to, maybe one afternoon or invite your friends over or invite your family over. Take one of the take one of the new DVDs or books. Start a book club or, just whatever, just to get that conversation and that dialogue going, not only for yourself, but, for your friends and family as well. It'll make the transition much easier or a little bit smoother for you. So, after this announcement, we'll be right back and we'll get right into the interview. And I hope you guys enjoy it. We really did have an awesome time, discussing the DVD. And thanks again to Felicia for putting out such really, really just great and effective work. It really, really helped. It helped me and, my friends as well. So thank you, Felicia, for your contribution as well. We'll be back.
Okay, announcements. December 27th, I will be presenting a workshop, Power of the 14 African Principles, at Black and Nobel in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That is December 27th between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. And I'm sure you will enjoy that. Again, I urge you to RSVP now. You can go to Enlightenment and Transformation for more information. Also, we urge everyone to sign up for the free Arisha Unlock Your Inner Power podcast-based class on the SedulaHouse.com. We are coming down to the wire. We'll be presenting not only our new spiritual training, phase 1, on the Sedula House, but several other classes that we have coming, which will be supportive classes. We have more free classes coming forth as a support to the Our New Spiritual Training, and also as an offering to our listening audience, those who are just here enjoying the information and applying the information. You can get a first-hand approach to our learning material by way of our free courses. So we urge you to sign up. Of course, Unleash Your Inner Power is podcast based, but we will be putting some other ones up there as well that are directly and exclusive just to the SedulaHouse.com platform. So we look forward to you joining us over there. Of course, every Sunday, we have a live broadcast by the name of Chief Speaks. You can tune in right here on Enlightenment and Transformation. And you can call in with your questions, and I ask that we keep the questions down to at least one question per caller, and that's 11 a.m. every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern and 8 a.m. Pacific, and that is the Chief Speaks show, which is a live Q&A segment where you can call in and ask the questions that you need to. All right, and that has been our announcement for this segment. Now back to our broadcast.
So I'm here with a couple of my friends. Usually we kind of sit around and have these type of discussions all the time. We'll watch conscious movies or just have discussions. So recently I was inspired by Felicia's latest workshop in her DVD on shrines and altars. And my two friends here that are with me are, studying different traditions, but they also have shrines and altars in their house. So I thought that it would be good to kind of expose them to Felicia's DVD just to see how just to see, clear up any misconceptions, or just to give more information on how to set one up. So, would you all like to introduce yourselves, or if you want to stay anonymous, that's fine.
I don't know about staying on. I'm Audrey Long.
Okay. And
I'm Asa. And I'm happy to be on the show.
okay. So, okay, you guys saw the film that Felicia did on shrines and altars. What was what did you think about it? Did you even know that there was a difference between a shrine and an altar?
I didn't.
Okay.
Well, you know what? I thought your concept of a shrine was a much more, it was sort of along the line of an ashram or something much larger on the outside or something here, in comparison to your altar, a much more personal place for your meditation and your prayers and your religious studies and that sort of thing. So it was really kind of interesting to see the shrine even on a smaller scale. I think in the DVD.
I honestly thought they were synonymous.
I did too.
I thought they were synonymous. I didn't even know it was a difference. So this was much needed information for me.
I kind of thought the same thing you did, because as I was watching the DVD, something that was said and made so much sense. He was saying, well, an altar is just that. It's meant to alter your consciousness. And I just thought, duh, I was like, okay, now I get it. It makes perfect sense. So yeah, I just never, I know like Chief is really big on etymology, word etymology, and just breaking these words down and really truly understanding what they mean. So when I heard that, I was just like, oh, gosh, of course, okay, I get it now.
It simplifies everything.
Yeah, it does. It really does. So,
and then I also thought too, from the DVD, that the elements, once they were broken down, were so much more simple than even some of the altars I've seen online or something on that line. It's almost as though you didn't know where to start. Well, I think you just let's start with 4 elements. Right.
First. Yeah. That was a big deal too, because I think like when I started building my first shrine, and now that I think about it, it was really an altar. I just started putting things on it that I liked. I like he said I think he also said that when you initially do it, you kind of intuit what you need to put there, and it works because you're genuinely trying to make that connection.
Right.
But then just a few little things can kind of fine tune it to help you establish that gateway a little bit better. So let's see, what did you guys think about the cleansing, all the cleansing that you had to, did you all know about cleansing the items and cleansing yourself and the baths and things before you would prepare your altar or prepare your shrine?
Well, I knew you wanted to cleanse the space, but I didn't know that you personally had to cleanse yourself and the items. That I didn't know. But to me, it just seems kind of intuitive. Like, okay, if I'm setting up this space, I want it to be welcoming and clean.
Right.
So I'm going to cleanse it. But I didn't know you had to do each item that you're putting on there.
It's almost kind of common sense when you think about it, though, because it's like, like you said, you are inviting your grandmother or whomever to your home. So, yes, you want to wash the glasses. Yes, you want to clean the table. Yes, you want to make sure the fruit is washed. You want to... you do have to clean everything. It made sense because, when you invite someone to your house, you clean everything before they're there.
Give them a dirty glass.
Right.
Put some water in it.
Right.
But I think also in the process of the cleaning, that's even you're making more of a connection with items that you have placed on your to prepare.
Right.
So kind of like the preparation process. You know, they do that in communion. You are even touching things with white gloves and that sort of thing. You know, then how much more so should we not reverence getting prepared to spend time with?
Right.
Yeah, the white gloves even on a symbolic level, but you know, everything is really kind of immaculate.
Okay. Let's see what else do I have. Another thing I thought was interesting is considering which ancestors you need to talk to or to consult with or to actually put on your shrine. Because I know a lot of times when you first come into African spirituality, everything you hear is just, we got to honor the ancestors, and people are just, you know, they honor everybody, calling out everybody's name.
Yeah.
And I know one thing he was saying, no, you don't do that. You want to consult those ancestors who were, you know, who were trying to evolve, so to speak, or who were trying to, you know, or the ones that you know are going to help you evolve. Right. Not all old people, or not old people, not all dead people are, you know, reach ancestor status, or just like all old people are not elders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What you mean? Uncle Peanut.
Yeah, Uncle Peanut. No, we gonna leave you where you are.
I thought it was interesting when they were stressing the point of reciprocity.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's just like, okay, I'm feeding my ancestors water, fruit, but when she said she put the books, and he didn't eat enough fruit, so she ate fruit. That really was interesting to me. Like, okay, like I'm really putting forth thought to help them evolve, physically and spiritually.
Yeah, because a lot of people sometimes just like to put stuff out there that they know their ancestors liked.
Yeah.
Well, Big Mama liked pig feet, so let me put some pig feet out.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's to make that connection, not knowing, because I've done it, and I was just like, I know he liked this, or she liked chocolate. I'm gonna hook you up, because I want to connect with you.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, well, if they were alive, would you give them that? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What about when she talked about blending these families? Like, do you want to work with your maternal side or your paternal side, and do you put them both on that altar? I thought that was interesting because that was something that I never really thought about. But, you know, just in doing more studying, I'm finding that a lot of times we don't know about all of the, I guess, conflict that possibly our bloodlines may have had.
Exactly.
because they were not, sometimes they may not have been properly mated together, or they didn't choose their mate in a conscious way. And so those two bloodlines may be at odds with each other. And so would you put both of them on the altar, you know, on the shrine at this, you know, together? Or that was just interesting to me.
That was something totally new to me.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is just opening Pandora's box. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking if those are my ancestors, you know, from my paternal, I'm gonna just put them together because they made me.
Exactly.
They came together to make me.
Yeah.
And that goes to show that here in the States, we have a lack of culture and a lack of knowledge of mate selection. They usually have arranged marriages, so they know those bloodlines.
They're familiar with the history of those. Yeah.
So my question would you have to divine to see if you need to put them on the same?
That was the suggestion that she made in the video, to divine on it.
I'm still on the line of finding those ancestors that were more spiritually in tune.
Right. Because you may not know them. Yeah. And that's something, that's even something, because that I've been working with a lot lately too, because maybe you don't know those ancestors. You don't know their names, or maybe your parents don't even know their names. And I was listening to one show, and I think that's what he was saying. When you go to your shrine, you ask for them. Tell me your name. Who, the name. You tell me who you are, because they'll speak to you, and tell me who you are. Tell me who that ancestor is that was that conscious, elder or whomever.
Right.
Yeah. I know that, like, you may tap into some, like, if they were good at farming, and that you want to start farming or something, you want to talk to that ancestor. But just on the basis of being conscious, I guess, you may not know any of your relatives that were really on that path, so to speak. I don't know. Maybe that makes sense.
I mean, because it's like, what's your definition of conscious?
Right.
Conscious,
yeah.
That can be interchangeable. Like,
exactly.
It can always
That's true.
change.
Yeah.
You have a relative conscious of, like you said, forming, sowing, child rearing, whatever you need.
Or you may not know that ancestor. You know what I mean? You may not know that relative that did that. So you just have to ask.
Well, I know as I was trying to be reverent to my ancestors, it was just my asking, intuitively, okay, well, let's see whose picture belong here. And some time ago, I found a picture of my father, and it didn't occur to me until much later. This guy was reading Khalil Gibran.
Khalil Gibran.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Then you belong there. Yeah. So even though I didn't have contact that much, that I remember, even as a small child, okay, so we're along the line there, and you do belong there.
Wow.
So a lot of times it's, my intention is to honor you. Then let me do intuitively what I'm led to do, because my intention is to honor. And then we'll find those things.
I want to go back to what you were saying about this relationship being reciprocal. You're not because she was saying in the video too, you don't always want to just be pulling on your ancestors to help you do stuff or to help you get stuff. But at times, sometimes you just want to go and make an offering just to say, here you go. I know you need, just to make the relationship a give and take relationship. Because I don't know, I hear a lot of people, especially with everything that's going on today with, Michael Brown and stuff like that. You see a lot of stuff on Facebook and everything with people, oh, we got to call the ancestors. The ancestors need to come help us out. The ancestors need to do this for us. The ancestors need to do that for us. And I remember Chief saying, you don't ever call a spirit to do something that you wouldn't do yourself. You don't do that. So, but you hear a lot of people who are all of a sudden into indigenous spirituality. They're all of a sudden, they're just, oh, the ancestors, we need you back, you need to come back, when you are it.
Right.
You are that ancestor, come again. And, it's just it's almost like, we're getting dogmatic again. We're getting real churchical again, where we're praising the ancestors. We don't want to do the work. We want them to come back and do it for us. Yeah.
Like they kind of almost work for us.
Right.
Us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I see a lot of that going on.
Why is that?
I don't know.
I think probably because we are so indoctrinated into the church model.
Yeah.
And even though we're exposed to a lot, I think over here in the West, the tenets still, because I'm
programming.
Okay, well, I don't understand this. It relates to that. That's
kind of like our frame of reference. That's kind of always where we going back to.
You just always see yourself in a servant role.
But I think the issue is to recognize that is such a predominant factor. even in your spiritual development.
Yeah.
Where you grew up culturally, or you know, your environment, you're so much more. You're so inclined to have those tenets still
with just in you. This program,
but to be conscious of it, and then you decide, okay, now at this level or at this stage, that's not really workable. But then what is? Because your mind needs to.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is, if you're trying to explain or you know, just trying to get the concept to somebody that's just coming into this, and you're telling them about their ancestors, you kind of gonna have to use their frame of reference, right? Like, your ancestors are kind of like your spiritual guardians or your angels or something like that, for them to grasp the concept. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, if you're trying to explain it to them, the power of their ancestors, you kind of gotta like take them back to that model. Because I'm trying to understand, like, if I'm trying to explain to somebody why you need to commune with your ancestors.
You need to do it. And that was that was like one of the first questions in the video. Why would you need a shrine?
Right.
Or why would you need to build an altar? I don't know. How would you explain it? Because you have a lot of people who are really spooked by people that have a shrine in their house, but you go to church and there's a big shrine in the, right there in front of the church.
It's grand.
Yeah. They have one right there, but to have one in their own house is like, what are you into? What are you into?
I think people really are scared of power.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to say it and witness, but I think people have a fear of actually possessing that power.
Yeah. Them being empowered themselves.
Yeah.
Wow. That goes back to that programming, though, that religious programming, because it's been beat into you that you're rich and somebody needs to save you, and you can't do it by yourself. Yeah, you were born a sinner. You can't do it by yourself, and you got to have the help. Because, I mean, even now when I talk to some people who are not necessarily into indigenous spirituality, but maybe, you hear, they work with angels or whatever. And they treat even the angels like they have to worship them. Like, oh, I better make sure I do this with Archangel whomever, like they're gonna come get them if they, if they don't do something to appease the spirit, So it's still, even though they think they've come out of this church mind or religious mind, they're still fearful of these energies.
Right.
It's still a real fear-based kind of.
And let's go back to what you said. That's kind of what religion.
Yeah.
Feeds off of.
And I don't want to just pick on Christianity, because all messianic religions are, are that way. Yeah.
Well, I mean, otherwise, why? I mean, how would you then keep people connected to it and controlled if you don't have the element of fear?
Yeah.
But I think as we are learning and studying, that uncovers the necessity, how unnecessary fear is, but knowledge and connection and empowerment.
I think one thing she said in the video, when she said, you have to keep in mind that what you are afraid to do in the light will have no power in the dark, or something like that. She said that was so profound, because it's like, you have some people that are like, they have the shrine, they want to do the shrine, but they want to hide it in the closet or hide it from people coming into the house, or they don't want to have that conversation. You know what I mean? When somebody comes over and they see that, and that was really,
like that,
I think we all were.
Down here in the Bible Belt.
Right. So you are really crazy. You know what I mean? When people come in and they see you. Yeah. What are you into? You know, and so that is scary. You know, my experience with that, because I have like a whole room set up where, I mean, it's I mean, just coming in the house, you have to pass it to get into the living room, so you cannot see it. But I found that, like, when relatives come over, they'll glance at it. I've even had some relatives to walk in the room and kind of look, but they never ask what it is. Is that right? It's like they want to know, but they're just too afraid to ask. I haven't had one relative to ask me yet, what are you into? What is that? Why do you have? I haven't had a single one to do that yet. But they wonder, you know, they'll kind of look in there like, what she got going on in there? But they never ask. Have any of your family members or anybody like ask you, like, what is this? What are you into?
No, because you know, you just see some of the pictures and that sort of thing, and you know that I'm probably gonna. Yeah. But I've been kind of, you know, connected to Earth stuff anyway. Right. So when you see that there, you know, okay.
You know, my family isn't down here, but when a few of my friends came over, they were kind of scoping, and they know they feel me out. They know what I'm on anyway. So they asked us, like, what's your setup? And then, like, okay, and then they'll spark a conversation. Well, you know, I've been reading into that, too. But those are, like, the people who already know me. Yeah, okay. As far as relatives, nah.
But, you know, another thing, though, when I first started studying, and I was, you know, in that stage of, like, oh, where am I going to put my shrine? I thought about it. I said, you know, a lot of times, because we have that connection to our ancestors, we do things unconsciously that are still very much indigenous. Like building a shrine, like he said, you know, you put up pictures of your relatives. I don't know if you all grew up in a house where, you know, you had that one room that you didn't go in. You didn't play in that room because that was the room where they had all the pictures of the relatives and you know, all the people that have passed, and they got flowers, and they got, you know, they got the family Bibles in that room, and they got plants, and I'm like, that was a shrine. Yeah. You know, without all they really weren't conscious of that's what they were doing. But I remember that room is like, you know, that's the room you don't run in there and play. You don't play in that room. That's the room where, you know, I saw pictures of my great grandmother or, you know, all these relatives. I'm like, you do these things instinctively and don't even realize
That's like taking me down memory lane.
Yeah.
Like with my great grandma, she was
the
like
couch with the plastic on it. You know, you don't play in that room.
Oh yeah, I'm like, that's like we have you talking about. I can smell the house. She was just that matriarch. I mean, it was like a museum of our lineage.
Exactly.
Wow. As you walk,
that was a shrine.
I mean, she just had. I mean, I just remember as a little girl, like amazed
at all the people you saw on the walls and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I had relatives.
Grandma, who is that? Who is that? I mean, it's like you taking me back. I'm like, wow.
And they would even have like things from those, like blankets or quilts that they had. You know, just little knick-knack, little things that they had, and I'm like, this is a shrine. Yeah. You know, you looking at my stuff like it's all weird and crazy, but that's what that was. It's just interesting to me. Like I said, how we do things instinctively, and that is your Egun. That is that blood running through you. You connecting with those ancestors, and you're not even aware of it. You're doing things like that.
That's powerful.
So I thought that was pretty interesting.
I remember I used to think it was spirits. Like, because she had so many pictures.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
it had an energy to that. There was an energy to that room.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, then you had my Uncle Dave who stayed upstairs. He was like in his 80s. I mean, it was just like a village in itself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that. That
You know, like plastic on the
couch. You know, that was just the room you don't go in there. You don't play in there. Don't run in that room. You know, you don't go in there and play. That
when
was
a picture fall, you like oh.
Yeah. Straighten that picture up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just, you know, and like I said, the plants and stuff were always in there. All these elements that she went over in the video, they were in that room. You had plants, you had items from your relatives in there, you had books in there that had, you know, the lineage written in the books. I know he was saying, like, you want to put things on your altar that to help them evolve. And before one of my relatives had passed, I actually had, like, she actually gave me my father's side, their family Bible. And I had my grandmother that's still alive. She gave me the family Bible as well. And I remember, you know, I'm not so much putting it there, the Bible there, but when you open it up, they have the lineage, the names written in the book, and that's almost like a grimoire in itself, because they're calling out. They have the whole bloodline, you know, in the front part of the Bible, where they had this Bible was given to me by blah blah blah, son of this, and it had the whole family tree in the book.
Oh wow, neat.
So yeah, I thought that was. I put that on. That's why I know you've seen it. That's why I have that on my shrine. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break here for an announcement or two, and then we'll be right back with the rest of the interview. But before we go, I do want to encourage you to go to seduluhouse.com and check out the store there on the website, where you can pick up not only the DVD that we're speaking of, but all of the new products. And actually, there are some package deals. So there's some really good deals on the books as well as the videos. You can get the entire, you know, a new book collection for like $38. And then there's also, or you can buy them separate, but you can buy the DVDs separate as well. But I think they also come in a package deal as well, where you can get all of the DVDs, or the DVDs and the book. So after this announcement, we'll be right back, and we'll get back into the interview with myself, Audrey, and Tanisha. Thanks for tuning in.
We are an African people. We will remember the humanity, glory, and suffering of our ancestors. We will honor the struggles of our elders. We will strive to bring new values and new life to our people. We will have peace and harmony among us. We will be loving, sharing, and creative. We will work, study, and listen so we may learn. Learn so we may teach. We will cultivate self-reliance. We will struggle to resurrect and unify our homeland. We will raise many children for our nation. We will have discipline, patience, devotion, and courage. We will live as models to provide new directions for our people. We will be free and self-determining. We are an African people, and we will win, and we will win, and we will win. Ashe. What is Anu Asafo? Anu Asafo is our opportunity to present our varied perspectives on our culture in an atmosphere that is conducive to and fosters growth and communal reclamation, the reclaiming of our communities, dissolving the lines of division that wedge a chasm between those who are authentically bent on destroying the strongholds that would maintain the veil of mental object among those striving towards higher awareness and what we would call ma'atic rebalancing. As we destroy, we build better individuals, better families, better communities, and a better nation. This is the work of warriors who are engaged in a war against a common enemy in the form of a mechanism of beguilement and spiritual subjugation. We build. Our new Asafo is a child segment of the Enlightenment and Transformation media experience, which of course is a child component of the Anua Nation. If you'd like to learn more about our various components and activity nets, I urge you to go to anunation.org, which is ANUNATION.org. The Anu Asafo segment on enlightenment and transformation is a student coordinated and managed show segment. Our Shule, our Sedulu, or what you may call our school component, is the Sedulu House. If you'd like to study with us or gather more information, visit theseduluhouse.com, which is SADULUHOUSE.com. The mission of the Anu spiritual order is to serve as custodians to original culture. We are here to share, and we are here to implement original, indigenous, and most significantly and empirically, Akibulanian culture and deep thought knowing. This has been the Jegna Chief Yuya Asan Anu, signing in and signing off for the Anu Asafo.
So what else kind of stood out or helped you understand things a little bit more about building a shrine and altar?
Well, I know for me, like we said, the elements. I was thinking about that as I was in class. I was like, wow, that is so amazing. Like the north, you know, is the air, the south is the earth, the west is the water, the east is the fire. Just by knowing that was like empowering. It's like, okay, now I know how to do it and why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right.
You know?
And also, like you said, it goes into, you know, at the end of the video, they had a divination, an obicast at the end, but it also, it shows you how all of these things are kind of superimposed on top of each other, because just like we were saying yesterday, you got, like you said, the north, east, south, and west, but also if you just look at the human body, you know, the left side is the feminine energy, the negative side of your body when you're talking about polarity. The right side is the positive or the masculine side, which represents fire. The feet, of course, is earth. You trot up on the earth, and then your head or your ori is, you know, heaven. And it just makes so much sense. It's like, you start to connect all these things, you know, in nature or whatever with the body and, you know, so forth. It just, like you said, it helps you open that gateway at your shrine a little bit more.
It's really like demystifying.
Right.
Like everything. You know. Right.
It's not just trying to memorize these things. Okay, let's see, the north is blah. It makes perfect and total sense.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, so that's why. Okay.
And it really intrigued me just knowing that, like, okay, if I can grasp this concept in this amount of time, I want to dig deeper. Like, how really deep does the rabbit hole go? Like, it's just, I'm like a little kid. Like, I'm just itching, like, okay.
Yeah. So have you all ever had, what kind of experiences have you had with your own shrine or altar? or have you had it? Do you feel like you have made a connection, or
I know for me, I haven't had any, let's say, supernatural experiences. It's just been a place for me to just go and honor at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, when you were talking about the video, okay, well, let's see what's potential, what possibilities, and I think then that's the value of us getting together to talk, and stuff, to share those experiences and things. So I'm certainly, it's just honoring or wanting to connect.
I've had a few experiences that I was conscious of, really just doing a ritual or honoring, and then like, okay, I'm gonna keep my eyes open all day. I'm gonna look for certain signs, and sure enough,
they come through.
They come through, and I've had a few experiences with nature. I mean, I told you, like, it's like a grasshopper was just following me all day, like from my doorstep to the stern wheel to on the radio, and my son was like, "Mom." And I was like, I mean, so just like things like that.
Just being aware of them.
Just being aware.
Yeah.
I told you one instance, I got scared a little bit. He was like, "No, you gotta be strong. You can't be scared." I was like, "Okay, yeah."
Tell us what happened if you want to share.
You took a knee. I got down. Laid down. No, I offered something to my ancestors because I was really feeling the urge, like I was neglecting them and I needed to connect. So I gave them what they wanted. And so when I was offering my mother and my father, I gave her some chocolate, gave him, he liked cigarettes. And so I'm offering, I'm talking to my son, and the table shook.
Wow.
It just shook. And so he stepped back, and I stepped back, because we do this, we try to do this daily on a routine. He said, "Mama, what was that?" And I said, "Baby, they must got it." And we were silent for a minute. I was like, "You good?" He was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Okay." And then I had to regroup.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this
is real. It really works.
Real. But some I had an intuition like, you neglecting them, you need to give them something.
Right.
And that they sure enough came through.
Wow.
I mean, just to see it move in front of your eyes like that.
Right. Or even some things like, I think she said in the video too, where she had put some molasses and some spring water, I think it was, or something in a bowl, and to see how she was saying, like, Yemoja pulled the melanin. She likes to pull from the melanin from the molasses. But like certain things, like seeing how fast water or the rum or something evaporates, or how fast it will start to break down or mold or something like that. That was interesting to me because I had something like that happen once. I was like, I mean, overnight I had poured some spring water out. I mean, like overnight, I went back the next day and it was like you could see the noticeable change, and I was just like, no. I didn't leave a window. I didn't leave a window open, or you know what I mean. It's like, how could it have evaporated that much overnight? Yeah. So it's just little stuff like that. That's shocking. But I know with my ancestors, a lot of times they always seem to come to me in dreams to let me know if they need something or specifically want something. Sometimes I do hear them when I'm at my shrine. But more often than anything, I hear them I see them and hear them in dreams.
Yeah, I can attest to that too. Yeah, definitely my father. Like he comes a lot in my dreams. So.
And another thing I thought was interesting is that it's almost like they are trying so hard to get a message to you, like, hey, I'm trying to talk to you, but we, like you said, we don't know the signs. Like before, you may have missed that grasshopper, because
Right.
you just weren't aware at all. But now you kind of you look for these signs of them trying to connect with you. But another thing that I found that was interesting for me is when I started making offerings and things, I started having dreams about so many ancestors. Like everybody just came flooding to me. It was so many of them. Like at one time I had one particular dream where we were on a bus traveling somewhere, and it was like everybody was on this bus, talking to me, and I'm like, and I'm just looking, and I'm like, oh, that's Uncle such and such, oh, that's such and such, that's great, my great aunt such and such. I'm like, all these relatives were on this bus, and I'm seeing, visions of places, where they were from, places I had never visited. We're just all talking, and they're on this bus, and I'm just, after that, once I started to feed them more, then, it would, some would come and some wouldn't. I would just notice, but it's just like, you're not feeding them.
That's so true.
So my thing is, if you're not paying it, because we're taught to not talk, that's evil. You don't talk to the dead or something. I don't know how we became spooked of grandma.
You're just frightened of it.
Yeah. But there are people feeding your ancestors if you aren't. Trying to pull on that power. It's almost like, you're not taking, if you don't take care of them, I mean, how do they evolve? It just makes me think about reincarnation and things like that. If they're not remembered, or if you're not feeding them or not communing with them, they're coming back again, because they're part of your bloodline, when you have children or whatever. I don't know. I'm just trying to, make that connection. Like, what happens when you ignore them?
I'm thinking about it like this. Like when I was explaining it to my son, I was like, I'm not always going to be here. I'm eventually going to be an ancestor. You're going to have your own children one day. But to ignore, I put it like this: if he ignores me, I was like, your children ignore you, how would that make you feel? Yeah. So I try to put it in the lamest terms like that. And he was like, and I'd be like, I'm ignoring you today. How would that make you feel? Yeah. You get upset, So I'm like, to ignore the people who
took care of
existence to you.
Yeah.
That's unjust. And also, when you think about the elders and reciprocity, we was doing an African proverb, honor your parents, parents honor your children, because you're going to need each other. So the children, you take care of the children, and the children take care of you.
Right.
Right? So it's like, we supposed to be taking care of them as they took care of us.
Right.
So they can transition. So
I'm
like, and you talk to your children, and then you talking and things come to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's why I had that dream and that urge to give them what they were craving.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I don't know. Like I said, to me, it was just a powerful. It was just a powerful. It's all been a powerful experience so far. What did you think about the building shrines to certain Orisha or certain, in this film we talked about Orisha.
Okay, let me get, because I'm learning.
Okay.
So, when you're building a shrine altar, when you building when you're trying to connect with the Orishas, are you making an altar or a shrine? Like, which one?
Well, actually, I think it's both, because at one point in the video, she had on her altar, remember, she had Eshu and Oshun.
Right.
Because she was trying to work with those particular energies to bring out to, I guess, connect with those energies within herself.
Right, I do remember.
So I guess that can be both. I guess it just depends on what your goal is.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah. Because he was saying, you can have if you do a shrine to Oshun, you're trying to understand that energy more or connect more with that energy within yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought she did a wonderful job explaining those.
Well, I got so the Orishas then will be comparable to your angels.
Yeah, you can say
coming
that.
from a biblical sense along that line. So that was clarity for me.
I guess when I think of the Orishas, I think of it like the energy, like the primordial energy that we're trying to tap into.
Right.
And when we do our altars and our shrines, we're basically kind of, like you said, altering our conscience to tap into that.
To tap into that energy.
So just like the one with Oshun, with the fishes and she had the fresh water.
Oh yeah, Yemoja.
Yeah, Yemoja. Okay. Like the fresh waters and the rocks and just that whole experience, like I'm going out to gather.
Right. Going to that place.
Yeah. I found that very interesting.
Instead of trying to like go to a store and buy fancy little stuff to put on there.
Very, very natural.
Right.
Readily available.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then you think about, historically, what would we have? You make those connections or something here with rocks.
Right. Yeah.
And wood and what was available.
It definitely put a new perspective on how I'm going to do things.
Yeah.
Just the simplicity of it. Just was nice.
Why, just as you were saying that about, going in nature and getting things, I remember I was watching a film with a group of people, and it was a film on voodoo, and they were showing, of course they were showing it out of context, but there was a scene in the documentary where they were showing a certain shrine, and they had putting blood or something on the shrine. And I really think it was probably palm oil. I don't even think it was blood. But where it was blood on the shrine and all this other kind of stuff. And, it does not look pretty. Of course they show you these things out of context. So you can kind of be like turned off by it. But the reaction of the people that were watching the film was they were just kind of like, ugh, they were just like, oh, that's so horrible. It's so ugly. They were just kind of repulsed by it. But the point of showing them the film was they were trying to show them that, okay, what's the difference between these people actually using the blood and becoming the God or becoming the spirit, as opposed to you being in church taking communion and stuff as doing a representation of it. And you're pretending to eat the body of Christ and drink, use the grape juice for the blood. This is the same thing, except they're physically doing it and you're symbolically doing it. There's really no difference. But it just made me think, how, being programmed to look at nature in such a disgusting way. Because I was like, there was nothing. Like she said, you go in nature and you get these things. You go and get the rocks. They're not going to be the pretty little polished rocks that you get at Walmart, or whatever. But you go get the rocks, you go and get the sticks or the water or whatever, and it looks very organic. But these people were looking at it as if it was nasty and dirty, and like these people were poor and it was a poverty, kind of. Downtrodden people, like, wow, they need to fix that up and make it look better. And I just thought, wow.
Honoring Mother Earth. This is Earth.
But it was just interesting to me how looking at nature, something natural on a shrine, just made them so disgusted by it. You know what I mean?
I mean, taboo. People had their taboos already about probably, their tradition.
Yeah.
That's probably the only thing I can think about it. Like, what are they doing?
It was just, I don't know, that when we were talking about that just made me remember that incident. About how they just did not like, it goes back to us being disconnected from nature now. This is why we can't understand the signs. when our ancestors or those energies try to, like you said, if that grasshopper kept following you, you don't get it. Instead, you take a shoe and you kill it.
Right.
It's bugging me. Why is, or whatever. And it just made me think how we just don't see, because we're so disconnected from nature. Everything, we live in a house, we go to work in a building, we go to school in a building, we go to a building or restaurant to get food, or to a grocery store. At no point in time do we stop and even notice nature, because you always want to be inside.
That is so true.
So when you do start to see nature or build a shrine, you want nice little pretty polished manufactured things on it. You don't want to deal with nature. It's not, yeah.
It's like,
and that's why
rejecting the very essence of what makes you.
Right.
You're rejecting it.
Yeah.
So it's like you're rejecting your power almost.
And so you're missing all the signs and everything.
And I'm just thinking about like what she did when she was like building. When she just made the table.
Yeah.
I mean, just that, like that DIY, like, because you got most people like, oh, I
gotta find something
like,
fly. You gotta get this nice table and really elaborate table.
Yeah, it's like, no, just go get you some wood. And I think just that whole concept of building and making something that you do yourself, that with the natural elements empower you almost.
Yeah.
Most definitely. I mean, everything doesn't have to be monetized. You don't just have to buy something. You can make it. You becoming God because you're making it.
Right. And you're also, again, connecting with those energies because you are creating it and building it yourself. So like you said, when you go to your shrines, you be as authentic as you can be when you go. You don't want to, pretend to have put on this fake voice or whatever. Be your genuine self. You talk to grandma like you would talk to grandma if she was sitting here. You know what I mean?
Somebody told me you talk to him like you be on Facebook. Or like you on Instagram. You tweet. Talk to him.
I know another thing. I was listening to another show and he was saying that, it's very interesting how, you didn't visit or talk to Grandpa when he was here, but now that he's passed, you pulling on him all the time, asking him for stuff, and we gotta honor the ancestors. And you would never stop by his house to just say how you doing while he was alive.
Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah.
But I know for me that's the importance of having those pictures there, just as a wonderful reminder of what you all have implanted in me.
Right.
Even just to say, thank you.
Right. Well, how do you manage time with your shrines and altars? I mean, I know she said that one thing you want to make sure that you try to clean it maybe once a week or maintain it. How do you, with work and going to school or whatever it is you do every day, how do you manage to fit this into your schedule? Is it difficult?
I know I do a little. Sunday morning typically is my time to just kind of be around, and I think I could probably do a lot more cleaning on my deal, but just that's the time to dote around and to check and to sit down and have some prayer time, or just have some time to just be honorable. Sunday mornings for sure.
Okay.
Don't, because throughout the week or something it can get kind of hectic, but
I
try to sit out a very kind of, that would be the sanctuary time.
Right.
For me, Sunday, most definitely.
Sunday.
With my son and my family, we try to do a sun salute, sun gaze, and I got the picture up there. So just we'll do a proverb, African proverb, sun salute, and then we'll commune with our ancestors. I have a little toddler, so the altars and the shrines I had on the floor, I'm like transitioning. I'm like, I gotta do something because
they keep pulling.
Got into.
I mean, because he see us in there, of course.
Yeah.
You know, and he
wants to be there.
He wants to be there. So I'm probably gonna need your help. Because baby boy, he is really
that Malik.
But yeah, just Sundays. That's kind of really where I commune. Like on a day, every day, I try to get us in a routine of communing with them. Before school, because I sub, so before school sometimes or before bed. And if not, then it's like, okay, he'll remind me sometimes.
Wow.
You know, and Mommy, you know we did. I'm
Right.
Like, okay, you're right.
Yeah, I know I've taught Zora how to refresh my shrines. So those days that I may, I'm in a hurry or I might forget or something, she knows to go in there and do it for me.
Oh.
Look, and they be on it.
So yeah, she knows. And then of course too, I always have the book there in case she forgets. But she remembers like general adores and things to use when she's pouring libations or something like that. So.
Yeah. See, that's something I have to. When you say refresh,
okay.
Yeah, I know. Right?
It's really not. It's really easy. Get the book. That's my plug. But it's really easy. I mean, it really is. It's really quite simple. And it doesn't take a long time. I thought that sometimes we have like, we gotta go through the whole cleansing thing, and it's gonna take like an hour to do this. But it really doesn't. Nah. Let's see. Is there anything else?
I like when she had the do's and don'ts. I thought that was very informative. Like something as simple like with the food. Like,
don't put keys and stuff.
Yeah,
or like put your drink on the table.
Yeah, don't keep it sacred. Don't just throw the food in the trash.
Right.
Refresh it weekly.
And then to take food offerings and put it at the base of the
tree.
I didn't know that.
Or put it out so
nature.
compost pile.
Right.
So that it is back in nature. Yeah, that I hadn't thought of.
Right.
Well, I do that. Just put it in the compost pile, but just the sacredness.
Of giving it back.
Yeah. Giving it back.
Right. Okay, ladies.
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
So like, it's coming to me. So like my mother's birthday is, about to come up, or my father's birthday is about to come up. Like to do a feast or to cook something like their favorite dish, or do dinner like with everybody with that food. Should we eat it like we eat it, or do we give it out in nature, or?
You're talking about afterwards?
Yeah, afterwards.
Yeah, I think you can probably just give it back to nature if it, or you can leave it on your shrine for like a day or something.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you don't want to create a rodent problem,
right?
Or a bug situation. But you probably can leave it there overnight, and then if you feel like you need to throw it away, or not throw it away, but take it out the next day.
Okay.
Take it out. That's a good idea. And you reminded me yesterday about the Jewish tradition. Yeah, that they have when they actually set the table and leave a chair there for that ancestor, for that relative, and put the food there, at that place.
What? Come to think about it, it was a picture floating around of Mike Brown family and Thanksgiving. And like you said, unknowingly, they had a picture. They had Mike Brown T-shirt on a chair.
Wow.
And they gave him a plate of food.
Wow.
And I looked at that and I was like, wow.
There it goes again. And that also reminds me of the tradition I was telling you all about too. Back, in older days, they used to have the funeral for the relative in the house, like the casket and everything would be in the house. And, it never dawned on me until I started, getting deeper into spirituality, why people bring food all the time. I used to think it was just, to be, to comfort
so the family
the family wouldn't have to cook. Yeah. But no, you're feeding that relative that just passed as well. You're feeding them.
Right.
And everybody's bringing, those are offerings. You know what I mean? And they lay them out on the table. It's almost like, there we go with another shrine again. Everything is laid out and offered to the family and offered to that person. You know what I mean? So it's like we keep doing these things and we're not aware of it, but that's us. We that's your ancestors. Resurfacing.
Right.
And why you have a wake. They have a wake and they have, just little things that we do, bringing food and all that. Flowers and plants and food. Again, here we go with the flowers and plants. And she said in the video, the spirits like flowers.
Yeah.
Bringing flowers, bringing plants and food. And alcohol.
I was just about to say that.
And alcohol, because every time, by the end of, after everybody eats, so they drinking. Y'all know it is. Somebody's drinking a little too much, at the funeral.
I mean, it's just like, wow, like, yeah, everything coming full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. Well, let's see. That's coming up on our hour. Is there anything else you all would like to add, or?
We probably need to mention the name of the book.
Oh. Of course, as in the video as well, she mentions, you can find all this information. Not only there's the book that was just put out on altars and shrines, but you can find Shrine and Altars. There's also if you get Grasping the Root of Divine Power, of course, you can find all the prayers or the adoras in the book to help you establish that gateway as well. And also, make sure you go to the website, the Sadulu House website, to pick up the video, the DVD. And there are also some others from the Self-Actualization Tour that Chief did as well. And I just want to say shout out to Chief and the Anu family, because the DVD was very well put together and nicely packaged and clear. The audio was not, sometimes we get, all these DVDs where we're just trying to study. The audio's jacked up, the camera's shaky. It's you can tell it's kind of been dubbed about 2 or 3 times. So it's like, I just want to say thanks for putting out a quality product where the sound is clear, the picture is clear, and it's understandable. So thanks again, Felicia, for putting in that work. That was a really awesome video. Congratulations on your workshop.
Very instructional.
It is. It is. So those, you can actually get all of that in a package deal on the website if you want to check out the books and the videos. So that's that. Okay, well, thank you, Tanisha and Audrey, for taking time out and checking out the video and making your offering to the Anu Asafo show.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we will see you all next week with another episode of the Anu Asafo show. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.